Hi, circuit riders. Just trying to get parked here at an event center, kind of fairgrounds. You know that fairgrounds can often be a resource for RVers, and there are 38 spots here actually at this park in Central California. But the site that they have assigned us is very tight and not really made for a 40-foot fifth wheel. So we've gotten parked at an angle and we cleared the road, and we thought that the slide was going to clear this tree. It is not. It's about probably a foot too close. So we're going to hook back up the truck and pull forward a little bit. We probably should have tested the slides before we unhooked the truck just because we knew it was so tight, but
it looked right.
It's all right.
It still does.
It looked like it was fine.
but also, not only is this not for a 40-foot rig, it's also not for our rig. Is the widest it can be, and on this side we have a 3-foot, so like this is wide and then wide again on this side too. So we just need to pull it for a little bit.
That's all right, no problem.
It's like a 10-minute cost of figuring it out, but that's okay.
All right, we did it. Plenty of room. So you may have caught in a previous video that the reason we were up at Yosemite National Park was because our campground outside of Monterey, California got canceled. San Benito Thousand Trails had a major electrical issue, and they canceled all the reservations and closed down the park just several days before we were due to check in there. So we had to scramble, and the only open Thousand Trails we could find in the region that had availability for as long as we needed it was Yosemite Lakes Thousand Trails. We are so grateful that we ended up there. What a beautiful national park to visit. We were not expecting to go to Yosemite at all on this trip. We thought it was too far out of the way, so we were so happy to be able to explore Yosemite for so many days. But I was really missing that I was not going to be able to come to Monterey and drive the Big Sur Pacific Coast Highway and explore this town of Monterey that was high on my bucket list for a California trip, and I was really disappointed that it looked like we were going to have to, bypass that. Well, while we were up at Yosemite, we thought, is there any way we could still get down there, even just for a few days? And I checked some campgrounds around Monterey, and they were all way over $100 a night, $140, $150. And I thought, I just don't want to spend $300 to stay down there, for the weekend. But then when we were looking at Google Maps, we noticed that there is another national park down here. About an hour outside of Monterey is Pinnacles National Park. It's a much smaller park. I had never heard of it before, but we're kind of on this national park kick now. We've got several planned for this Pacific Northwest trip that we're doing, and we had done Yosemite, and while we were up there, we said we should try to collect more national parks. If we're ever near one, we should make a point to go. So once we figured out that there was a national park down here that we could collect, plus maybe we could get near Monterey, I did some more digging, and I found this event center that's a fairgrounds, Bolado Park. It's 25 minutes north of Pinnacles National Park. It's an hour from Monterey. It's an hour and a half from Big Sur. Perfect. It's only $40 a night, and it has 50 amp hookup and water, no sewer. But man, for $80 to be able to spend the weekend here and do all the things on my bucket list, well worth it. So I'm so excited that we have come and finally gotten parked in here. And we're going to turn right around this afternoon and go out and do Pinnacles for a few hours. And then tomorrow we'll have all day to do Monterey, which will probably be in the next video. Let's get going. So it's 2:50 in the afternoon right now, and we're purposely coming to Pinnacles National Park at the end of the day because I had read online that it tends to be a very crowded park, especially on the weekends. But I thought, well, and it specifically said between 10 and 3, 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. is the busiest time. So I thought, well, we'll go get settled in with our RV and we'll go at the end of the day. The visitor center closes at 4, so we'll just get there right before. Well, we have pulled up here, and there's probably about 24 cars waiting to get in here at almost 3 o'clock. I'm really surprised.
Shouldn't be a long wait, but I'm gonna guess we've been here 3 minutes right now, so this might be 10 minutes, 15 at the most. It's going pretty fast, actually. I think it'll be 10.
Beautiful warm day, though. We're so glad to be back in shorts. Yosemite was beautiful, but it was not warm.
It was not, but it was beautiful.
So we've been waiting in line for almost 20 minutes, and when we got up to the guard shack here, there's a sign that says the park is full And so it's one vehicle out and one vehicle in. We suspected that every time a car comes out, they seem to let someone else in. So that's why it's taking so long to get in here. But luckily, a lot of people are leaving here at the end of the day. We made it to the visitor center. Right across the parking lot is the Pinnacles Campground, which is an RV park and tenting. I did try to get in here, but it was completely full for this weekend, so couldn't get in. Now, I remember reading online that spring and fall are the busiest times at Pinnacles because in the summer it's so hot, and it's very difficult to hike here in the summer. So that might explain why there's so many crowds right now in mid-March. So there's just a small bookstore here that serves as the visitor center, and we asked the ranger in here, we told her this is our first visit, what does she recommend for a good introductory hike or to see some birding. I think that Pinnacles National Park is most famous for different bird watching, especially condors, peregrine falcons, and certain types of owls. So she said if you want to see really good birding right now while all the other parts of the park are really full, she said take the bench trail behind the campground. You can see a lot of good birds there, and it's not very crowded right now. So we're going to try that out. You know how sometimes you're walking and people pass you going the other way and you just catch snatches of their conversation? Well, this group just passed us and all we caught was, well, at least he got to go to Antarctica. Another unique thing about Pinnacles National Park is that it has talus caves in it, which is bat caves, and they have 13 different species of bats here. We read up front that most of the bats are gone right now. There must be certain seasons of the year when they're here, but you can go in and see them if they are here. Pinnacles was started as a national monument by Theodore Roosevelt in 1908 and just became a national park in 2013. I was saying to Jason that this feels like a locals national park. There's a lot of school groups here, kids groups, probably scouting, families, and people who are here for the weekend to go hiking. So I bet it's very popular with locals and more interstate or international travels. It's not really on their radar. It's not a condor, but I'll take it. Pinnacles National Park is split into eastern and western sections. The eastern section where we are seems to be the main entrance, and then you can hike in between the sections, but you cannot drive all the way through the park. So if you come in the west or you come in the east, you would have to hike over the high peaks, which is the section of mountains in the middle, in order to reach the other side. My son-in-law used to live in Monterey, and he is familiar with Pinnacles, and he told me that there is a secret monks colony that lives, I think, on the western side, and you have to have a special invitation to go in there. So obviously we're not going to see that, but he knew about it. And it looks like there's several really major hikes here up into the big peaks around the mountains and stuff, but we're just not up for a long hike today. I'm glad that we did our little walk and drove around most of the park. And we didn't see too many birds up close, but I can see them way off in the distance soaring high in the sky. It's getting towards dusk now, so they might come out a little bit more. The hills around here are so smooth that we keep saying they don't look real. They look like something out of the Super Mario games. So funny.
You have to go through a green pipe to get to whatever world that is, where those clouds
That's
are.
the cloud world over there. Yeah.
It's on the other side there.
Green portal.
Bah, the level boss you gotta beat first.
Yeah. Oh, look what we found driving around. San Benito, 1,000 Trails, 2 miles. My goodness. This is the campground that shut down and canceled on us. Apparently it's right outside of Pinnacles National Park.
Well. What do we have here?
Let's go see if it's closed.
It's very full of people and they're partying. It's not closed.
Beautiful area.
It's not closed there. Yeah, this has been lovely to stay at, but I'm so glad we had to find another place that ended up putting us in Yosemite, because we never would have done that.
Yep, nobody's here. Well, thanks for coming to Pinnacles National Park. Like I said, this was another last-minute thing that we weren't expecting. I'm so glad we got to visit another national park. Next time, we are going to head over to Monterey and drive down the coast to do the Pacific Coast Highway and Big Sur. I hope you'll come back for that. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.